Right, you're on.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you to the Brittania InStyle 65 machine. It has 65 stitches, and if you look on the lid, it's really great because it explains all of the stitches here. So you start off with utility stitches, you have some decorative stitches which go all the way along here, and you've got a couple of nice buttonholes here as well. Lovely blanket stitch, it's one of my favourites. So in the first video that we did in the introduction, we've shown you how to thread it up, so I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to turn this machine on at the side, and as you see on the LED display, it comes up as 01, which is the first stitch. This is 01 up here. It refers to that utility stitch. Okie dokie. So if you want to change the pattern, if you have a look here, you've got 3 buttons, A, B and C. A, it actually says the word pattern. It's got the arrow to it. So if I want to change the number, I just press that. She says, yeah. So it comes up to the pattern. So the green light's there. And then you go to this plus and minus. So I can go through numerically and change the stitch. But also you can go down. So if you're at stitch number 1 and you wanted stitch 64, for example, you don't have to go all the way through the numbers. And I think that's really useful. So if you have a look here, you see A is pattern and A is up and down. So we can go up the scale or down the scale. If I come along back to here and press the B button, that means the B light is lit up now. And this is showing me what the stitch length is. And if you look down here, on the minus it makes it shorter, and on the plus it makes it longer, so it's covered everything. So if I want to make the stitch longer, if it allow me to, I'll press that one, but I can make it shorter just because I happen to be on a random stitch. I think it's great. So if I come back over here again and press the C button, that's the width. On here it's saying I can make that stitch narrower or I can make it wider. Now if you see that the stitch that we've selected here is 7 millimeters, your stitches won't get bigger than 7, but you can come down on this occasion. Now if I go back to pattern, and if I just take that up to a straight stitch, which is 01 or 00, okay, and then I come into the length, now I can increase the length or I can decrease the length. And if I go to the width, I want you to come across to this one, because not only will it increase the pattern, increase the width, it actually on a straight stitch, because there is no width, it moves the needle position. Can you see? I'm moving the needle position across. So if you want the needle to be to the far right, which will probably give you a 1/4 inch because you'll use the edge of the foot, use this button here. It's really useful. Or if you are putting a zip in, or you wanted your stitching in a particular place, you can use those buttons on that width one, right? So come across to this button here, and this is going to determine whether the needle remains in the up position or the down position as you're sewing. So at the moment it's going to remain in the down position, and then that's the up position. And this one here is brilliant. It's a securing stitch. So when I press that, it will do a securing stitch every time I sew. And all you need to do is to press the little reverse button over here. All right. Now, as I'm sewing along, if I go back to my pattern, and let's take this pattern down to the one that's over here, say 65, which is this lovely decorative looping one here. But then I suddenly decide I want to do either a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch or a stretch zigzag or a buttonhole. They've put these buttons on the front, so straight away I can press that and I've got to stitch number 4, and that's my diagonal. So that's a really quick way. You don't then have to come up here and have a look at it. So that's covered that side. Everything I'm telling you is in the manual. She says, let's get the right manual out, the 65. So you've got your instruction manual here. Mine's a little bit ripped already. It's got an index at the beginning, and everything I'm telling you is in this book here. All right, it's very simply written. There are lots of pictures. There's your threading that were covered in the other video, but and it also gives you some really nice advice about how to start to sew. So it's treating us all as if we're beginners, and that isn't a bad thing, because even if you think you know how you're doing it, it's sometimes good to have a little look. So now I want to come across to these buttons here. This button here is red at the moment. It's a start and stop button as an alternative to your foot controller. So if you've got the foot control in, that will not work. And it also won't work until you lower the presser foot. And she says, just put a hand in there. Can you see now it's turned green? So if the presser foot's up, it's not going to allow you to sew. If I try and press that, it's going to beep at you, and that's a good thing. This is your reverse stitch or your securing stitch. This has a little tortoise on, so it's going to slow it down, which is great. But you've also got a speed control here as well. And then this is your needle up and down. So you can see needle down, needle up. Now, that is actually what's going to make the needle up and down, whereas the one on the little pink one over here is what we're programming it to be in the up position or the down position. So that's covered that bit there. Happy? Up here, you've got a tension. The tension is set as an auto tension, an automatic tension. So what the machine's doing is thinking, well, for the majority of things, I can cope with that. However, do not be afraid to alter your tension if your stitch quality isn't as good as it should be, or you're using a speciality thread or a speciality fabric. And I love the fact that all your stitches are up here. You're never going to leave it, are you? So if I come back down to here, Debbie, we've talked about how to thread it up already, but what you can do if you're doing a sleeve, the top of a bag, take the accessory box off and you've got your free arm here. If you want to drop the feed dogs are the teeth here, you just do that. Feed dogs have dropped, and when you put them back up, they do not come up. Don't worry, they will come up on the first revolution. You do not need to turn the hand wheel, but I just want to show you that they're there. Now, your accessory box will contain all of your accessories that come in a plastic bag. I'll pop that back on. But what you will get is a set of spare needles. You will get one of the most important bits of equipment that we have on a machine, which is your reverse stitching or your stitch ripper. You'll get 4 bobbins. Now the bobbins are the 11.5mm bobbins. They're available from Sixpenny Memories. Just give us a call. Don't use metal bobbins, please, ladies. Or gentlemen, use the plastic ones. This is your binding foot. Sorry, yeah, your blind hem foot, sorry. This is your buttonhole foot. This one is your overcasting foot. This is your zipper foot. And then you get a clear view foot, which has got a B on it as well. And these all have letters on, and that's in your manual. But this one is ideal when you're using your decorative stitches because you can see them. You also get the weirdest looking screwdriver in the world, but it's great because it allows you to get into this part here for when you're cleaning it. You get an extra spool holder, so if you want to put a bobbin on, an additional bobbin on, you can just pop it onto there. And you get a large screwdriver if you are changing the foot, if you put your walking foot on, which we'll talk about because that's included in the quilt sets, which are optional accessories. I have to say, you get a brush, but please go out and buy yourself or acquire a child's brush, and it's much easier for getting in amongst there. So that's what you get with your machine. In addition to that, you get the it's an A foot, which is your utility or zigzag foot, and that'll come on the machine. Now to take the feet off, there's a little black button at the back. I don't know if you can see that, Deb, so do you want me to turn the machine round?
I can see where your finger is.
Press the button, foot drops off. To put the foot back on, just literally lower it back on, it'll click in, and then press it up there. There's also a little thread cutter on the side of the machine as well. But I think what would be really useful just at the end of this, I'm going to give a quick demonstration on this needle threader. So you've threaded it up 1 to 6. You've done it on that last little bit there. I'll just take some of this excess thread off. And what you'll do with a needle threader is you'll bring that down. It will come forward and it will stay there. Put your thread underneath there. Put your thread in between and hold it so the thread will come loosely through my right hand there. Press that button up and it threads a little loop at the back. Pull the loop through, pop it underneath, and you're off, ready to sew. Enjoy your Brittania InStyle 65. If you've got any questions or any issues, please contact us on our email address, which is sales@six-penny.com. Thank you.